Hi everyone, this week we've got Zenara and Dan on the show. We're going to be talking about conveyancing tips and the process. But as usual, before we do anything else, Dan and Zenara, can I get an introduction from you, please?
Yeah, hello Lee. So my name is Zenara and I am Head of Agent Training at Simply Conveyancing.
And hi Lee, nice to meet you. My name is Dan Marsden. I am relatively new, 8 weeks in as the new Head of Sales at Simply Conveyancing. Good to see you.
Awesome. So first question, probably more aimed for you Zenara on the training side. What conveyancing tips can you offer from all the training that you give to agents?
I would say one of my top tips is to always get every single applicant should be instructed with a solicitor from day dot. That's probably my first tip, because a lot of the time when I'm training, it will always be that they kind of will be pushing conveyancing on sale agreed or offer stage. And really we want to start getting it embedded in people's heads from the moment they step in those doors. And the other thing is that this is in terms of Simply Conveyancing. I can't always speak for all law firms, but with Simply, a client is for life. So what I mean is that if you are having a client go through your door and they don't use your services, it doesn't mean that you can't make a profit from that particular person. So what I mean is that always recommend it, because if they go elsewhere and you refer it to Simply Conveyancing, that is still cash coming into you, basically. So that is number one top tip.
I like that. I totally agree with you that not everybody is going to buy the house that's walked in that door, but at some point that person might buy a different house, and you can still work with them as on the conveyancing side and earn obviously revenue and all the rest of it. So each person is a revenue opportunity. I think that's a very good top tip.
One of the things that we do here at Simply is that our sales team will chase. So our sales team chase for something called new net, what we call it. And it's chasing for things like memos, client information form, property information form, all the things to get the process starting. And when we did that recently on one of them, I called the estate agent to chase for the memos they did, of which then that person actually registered with them 2 years ago. So the reason why we called that agent is because they're classed as the referring agent, and actually they're not anything to do with that client anymore, but that agent will still get the referral fee for it.
So that's good. I think that's a very good tip. And my next question is, what are the most seen conveyancing problems from, obviously, I know you can only speak from obviously Simply, but from what you see?
I think industry-wide, it's not going to surprise anybody that communication and transparency sits at the heart of that relationship between, certainly from a Simply perspective, our estate agent partners. That communication piece is crucial to success and has been the key to success this year. We've obviously had stamp duty holiday with massive volumes. We're very careful with capacity. That's another thing we need to be very mindful of as well. So overburdening our sales team or our lawyers, too many files, it sounds daft, too much business, but we work with a number of selected partners. We're really delighted to work with them, and we have those conversations all the time. So we see what's coming, in the next few weeks. We can brief the legal teams, brief the lawyers, and I think communication across the whole piece is probably the single most important thing. And I don't think that's not anything new, but it's something that's been talked about recently at the Estes Forum. I think most solicitors, most agents would say to you that the perfect relationship is one where everybody knows what's coming across over that horizon any given time. So a heads up on anything, if there's an issue with a file, the ability and the kind of relationship where people feel comfortable enough to pick up a phone and say, look, there's a problem. Can we sort this out? It can be sorted properly. If that relationship's a good one and it's forthright, it's open, and it's constant. I think you need that. You need to be consistent with that communication. It can't be there in peaks and troughs. If you can keep that, then you get happy clients at the back end of it. Both of us, agents and solicitors, are rowing in the same direction, and that's happy clients. And if we can have that, then that leads to more referral business, and as Zenara said, clients for life. They come back.
And sorry for the really bad sort of hand gesture, but kind of working hand in hand between the pair of the agent and the conveyancer, and making that process happen. Sorry, Zenara, I accidentally cut across you. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to just say exactly the same as Dan there and what you were just saying. But I think the one thing I would say, definitely taken back from the Estes Forum, is that I would suggest that every estate agent or every branch has the conversation with their current supplier in terms of conveyancing to establish what is their communication going forward? You know, in terms of setting that expectation and making sure everyone's aligned, because I feel like at the moment that's where we're going wrong, is the sense of, I think someone should call me back, you know, in the next hour, or it could be that they think they should call me back within 3 days. And I think that's one thing that we've been doing recently, is going back to our SLAs to say, actually, we'll call you back within this time frame, etc. So I would say one thing for everyone is to actually say, right, have that conversation with the current law firms that they're using and saying, right, when are we touching base? When are we going through the pipeline? When are we looking at forecasting?
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, that's one thing that everyone should do.
And I think it's key with that in mind to set expectations really early.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so everybody knows exactly where they are. So there are no surprises. You know, nobody's surprised. I mean, to be honest, I'm 8 weeks in, I think most people are surprised at how proactive our guys are. Because I think if you speak to most people and talk about agents or solicitors, the fairly wide view, and it's not even a view that people have had through experience. It's one of those things they kind of feel like they have to say it. Or, you know, terrible at communication. It's one of those things comes up on a survey every year. But I think if between the three parties, between the client, the conveyancer, and the agent, expectations are set down really early. And say, look, we're committing to do this for you because you're paying us to do this job, and we'll do it. And the agent's communicated that, and we've communicated that with the agent. There are no surprise. I think sometimes that's where your first question, where you get the problems, where Zenara said that SLA expectation doesn't match up between all three people, then you get problems because expectations are different along that journey.
Yep, I like that, and it's those sort of lead on to my last question really, as to, you probably covered it, but is there anything else that you can think of that would make the process even better?
Yeah, I think one of the things, especially taken away from the recent one, and I think it's quite good this is coming up now, is that we all should work together with this industry. So, for example, in terms of estate agency, in terms of conveyancing and brokers, everything should kind of work together in that sense. No one comes to work to do a bad job in that sense. But I would say one thing to make the process better is that, you know, we need to start getting the process started from day dot, like I was saying the first one. Buy ready, sell ready, something that's conveyancing really, really pushed down, because we can overcome most hurdles before sale agreed. Then therefore we're automatically starting that process, and therefore we'll get to the end goal much quicker. But yeah, I would say that's definitely my one. Sell ready, buy ready.
I think for me, I think it's having a proper audit of your relationships with agents. I think for us being new, I'm doing that now, so there's a bit of an audit going on who we're working with, making sure that those relationships aren't just commercial, that we actually have a good understanding, and I have a proper relationship with the people that I'm working with. And that's taken time. It's an ongoing process for me and for the wider team, but it's crucial. I think the strength of those relationships, and when we all saw the stamp duty holiday, it wasn't much of a holiday for most people, but it was busy time. And I think now we've got a slightly not quieter market. People are very busy, but in terms of, you know, instructions coming through, it's slightly quieter obviously than the stamp duty holiday. I think during that sort of 430, 450 days of, you know, craziness, I think those who did have those kind of robust relationships between agents and partners, solicitors and partners, and estate agent partners, they're the ones that came through probably with far fewer bruises than those that perhaps didn't have a really strong relationship. But, you know, you need someone to lean on in times like that. So we're working really hard on those right now.
I think that's brilliant. Dan and Zenara, I think the tips have been great, and I just want to say thank you very much for coming on the show. It's really great to have you both, and thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks ever so much.
We'll see you at the boat race.
I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.